Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga.
I like pudding.
Hi, this is James, and
Tiberius Kirk.
for Brain Candy Productions, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about Ip Man.
Ip Man.
Ip Man. I don't... My editing software just updated, and you heard it. You heard it here first.
Hooray.
Ip Man. Brought to you by Sutter Pops.
No, don't eat them. They're Sutter Pops.
So, the alarm that you hear now...
Beep.
That works. That is your, if you haven't seen this movie yet, that was your spoiler warning. So, in our reviews, we talk. That's what it is. I do want to talk about this movie though because, one, it's historical, like actually legit history. Two, Donnie Yen.
Guy's awesome.
Also, Dave requested this on our Facebook. The other videos that have been requested, such as Willow, Labyrinth, we're going to get to those, but I have a plan for those come October, since October I've got plans. I've got plans. So, with that said, first scene, parade scene, just regular thing. Guys training, martial arts, display, trying to get people to join up. New master in town goes and knocks on a door during dinner time. Well, it's dinner time. You know, I bad time, dude. Bad time. All right. You want some food? How awesome is that?
But he wasn't a new master. He was just, he was one of the pre-existing ones. The new master is the one that was all ghetto-looking from the north. And
I loved his character, by the way.
Got spanked, literally, with a feather duster. But I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we're not at that part yet.
Ip Man was a very generous individual. He was very humble, at least about himself and his style and his skill. He always made sure that, because the guy walks in, he's very he's like politely rude, like, hey, I want to fight you, and Ip Man's like, well, we're kind of eating dinner. Well, not even Ip Man, it was Ip Man's wife.
Yeah.
We're eating dinner right now. It's okay, I'll wait. Okay, that's, stereotypical how Asia, I guess, treats females, at least back in those days, but just politely rude, and you kind of already want to punch him in the mouth for it.
I love your use of politely rude. That is the best oxymoron ever.
But if you watch it, he's like, yes, I will. He's very intrusive yet not intrusive simultaneously. He's like Schrodinger's intruder. He's both intruding and not intruding at the same time. But Ip Man's like, okay, well, while you're sitting there, have you eaten yet? Oh, no. Well, come on and eat. Oh, thank you.
And I want to say that this first scene kind of, exemplifies this individual.
Yeah.
The whole thing is kind of riches to rags. I mean, when you're out in a coal mine, first of all, seriously, that's not fun work. I've done labor-intensive work, never in a coal mine, digging number 9 coal with my bare freaking hands. And, he's super nice. Like, oh, no, it's okay. I got it. It's cool. You're going to wear those clothes? Yeah, no, it's fine. I got this. And he's just literally the shining example of a human being And this first scene kind of shows that, like, let me feed you. I understand that you're offering a challenge, and I do love kung fu, like, the where they, in respect, how they respect one another, how it translates.
Mm-hmm.
Please allow me to have this fight. Thank you for letting me win. It's one of those things where it's like the respect is there, but he actually embodies it. Kind of like the restaurant scene. My favorite scene in the whole movie is probably the restaurant scene because of the way he disarms the police chief.
I wanna take the time to note that China's steel production was garbage. Garbage. Okay, there's a reason why the Japanese managed to take China and hold it for a while. China's steel is terrible.
And Japanese steel, by the way, is not that much better.
No, it isn't. There's a reason why it's called pig iron. It's terrible. But yeah, I mean, when you think about the poorest example of a revolver and the height of human training meet, the revolver loses. Especially, as someone who has done Wing Chun before, I'm gonna tell you right now, being within like 10 feet of me, or anybody who is skilled in Wing Chun and actually knows what they're doing, is a terrible with a pistol or any form of weapon.
Are you gonna just make me keep editing? Like,
yes, I am.
Oh,
just bleep. Bleep.
Are you cooking for robots?
Beep boop beep boop boop. But you shouldn't ever, go after somebody that's holding you at gunpoint. But I mean, if they're close enough and it's your only option, it's their mistake to make. It shows in this movie where he just kind of like grabs his hand, pushes the cylinder out, snapping the pin that holds it in entirely, and it's just like, well, okay, now you don't have
revolver's broke.
Yeah, we're civilized people here. Sometimes we fight, but everything's cool, so chill.
Yeah, like we might have a lot of energy, but we're civilized human beings. Hey, can you get him a table? Hey, get the police chief a table. Literally, there are so many examples of his humanization, even when he's like completely down. Dad, why aren't you working out as much? Well, that causes me to eat more food. We don't have that much food to eat. Like, I got punched in the feels hard when he said that to his son. Like, it's not that I don't have a passion for it still, it's just you and your mom come first with food.
So there was a for me there was a punch in the feels in the movie where he has the master that originally challenged him fights for General Mura, wins, then is like, I will take on 3 more. Loses, goes to pick up the original bag that he had won, gets capped by Major Sato, who's a complete piece of human garbage, by the way.
Yeah.
At least General Mura was like an honorable piece of garbage, if that makes any sense. But Sato was just a complete disrespect. He had no regard for martial arts.
Dude.
He had no regard for martial arts and its etiquette. And so Ip Man decides, when he finds that, when General Mura killed one of Ip Man's friends and quasi-students, and so he shows up to find out what happened to him, sees his friend and peer get shot in the head for no good reason and loses his mind. He's just like, open the cage. Open it now. Open the gate. And so opens it, and he's like, I'm gonna fight 10 people. And the chief of police was the translator for the Japanese. That was his new job.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of hell for that because everybody viewed him as a traitor. But then what do you do in an occupied country when you don't have any power or ability to fight back?
Except for 2 languages.
And so he basically used that to his advantage in order to just survive. But at the same time, Ip Man viewed him as kind of garbagey for a while because he saw him as kind of herald to his friend's death, right? So he beats the living crap out of 10 black belts in karate, whatever forms of karate they know, was completely ineffectual.
If I had to guess, because I'm belted in 2 styles, it looks kind of like Aikido meets Kenpo.
It wasn't Aikido. Aikido hadn't been introduced to Japan yet. Sensei was still forming it. That was 1952 when he first started teaching it.
Yeah, just the look and the style was very Kenpo-ish.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if that was still primarily a Chinese art at that time or not.
Could have been Shotokan too. I don't know.
It could have been Shotokan.
But either way, it did no good for them. They just couldn't touch him at all.
And just as a side note, because we're both practiced martial artists, when we spar and I use my Kenpo and my various other arts against him, it usually is a stalemate between the two of us, only because it's actually the next point I want to bring up about this movie that Master Ip says a lot. It's not about the style, it's about the fighter using it. And you come across a lot of these. The moral of the story is don't be a trash human being and don't use your martial arts for trashy things.
So a lot of people get hear might makes right and they think, well, I'm stronger than you, therefore I'm right.
Which is not the case in the real world.
Ip Man was right, that's why he won. He wasn't right, he was righteous. Right? But the punch in the feels for me was after he went home. They gave him 10 because if you want to fight, you got a bag of rice.
Yeah.
Basically, the Japanese took all the food from the citizens of Foshan and was like, if you fight for it, we'll give it back to you. That's what they did with it. So he won 10 bags of rice, and the only bag of rice he picked up was the bag of rice that basically had brain matter all over it from the sensei, the Sifu, his
Sifu
friend.
Lu?
I think it was Sifu
Sifu
Lu.
Lu.
I think that was his name. That was all over the rice, and then he gave that to his family that he was fighting for. And then left. The punch in the feels was when he goes home, and he's talking to his wife, and he's like, I'm completely and utterly useless here. There is nothing I can do. As somebody with that much skill in a particular thing, to feel, and I'm not saying I have that much his level of skill. I really don't. I literally don't. But I kind of understand how he feels. I have these skills that are of pretty much no use in 99% of society. So it hit me really hard when he just I'm powerless. I can't do anything about anything that's happening. I feel useless. And I think that was one of the most heavy-hitting punches of the whole movie.
Big hit.
Yeah, I mean, really, it was, at least for me, because it was one of those things of the dude can fight an army unarmed, but he feels that he can't accomplish anything to better the situation that his family is in, or that Foshan itself is in. And it's not until he finally decides. Funny enough, the individual that came to his house, the other individual that came to his house with his entourage to challenge him to a fight.
What was his name again? I can't remember.
Oh my god, I can't remember his name either.
The guy, straight up, guy from the north. He Yeah.
He had the hardest of times, and even using one of those big heavy swords, couldn't beat Ip Man wielding a feather duster.
Yeah.
Like that was insane to me. It's a feather duster, but nope. It's in the hands of Ip Man. It's going to be lethal. He turns into a bully. The kid that originally saw the fight between Sifu, I think it was Lee, not Lu. I think it was Sifu Lee.
I can't remember.
But his Sifu friend, and him, the sparring match that they had was supposed to be just between them. Well, that guy lost. The kid lost his kite.
Mm-hmm.
Went looking for it. Saw the fight. Then started talking about it at the restaurant, all over town. And his brother was like, "Stop talking crap. Why? It's the truth." Pantses him. He runs away all embarrassed, and nobody sees him again until after the Japanese had taken Foshan and the whole 9 yards. And he's joined up with the guy that Ip Man beat with a feather duster. They turned into highwaymen. And he blames Ip Man for not being able to open a martial arts academy. Even though Ip Man was like, you don't need to fight me to be worthy of a martial arts academy. You just need a good location. That's literally what he said just before they fought. Like, in an attempt to get him to go away. In the beginning of the movie. And then the fight with he finally finds purpose in teaching his friend that offered him a job that he actually put money into. It was a fabric, a bolt of fabric factory, a textile factory.
It was like a cotton factory is what he called it.
And then like he wouldn't teach them. He wouldn't really teach anybody. But then that the highwaymen showed up, hijacked their truck, tried to sell it back to him like an insane amount. They didn't have money. So he finally begrudgingly decided to teach all these people how to fight, finally found purpose. And I think that was kind of important. The translator guy finally, grew a sack and helped Ip Man out. The fight with General Muro was pretty much one-sided.
It was, and then the cheap
shot?
I didn't want to do it.
I did.
You did it.
I did.
You hate puns too.
Hey,
that's the funny part. You hate puns. The cheap shot.
I'll shower later. It's fine. It was a great fight. I think Ip Man got hit like 3 times, and then like it was just a one-sided beatdown after that. General Muro just couldn't match him. It just wasn't possible for him.
Yeah, the technique and again that comes down to purpose. Like I personally cannot say that enough. It comes down to purpose. When you're in a life and death situation, and I don't want to turn this video into like my memoirs of street fights I've been in. But when you're in a life and death situation, if you don't have purpose, when you're in any fight, any sparring match, if you don't have honor and integrity, literally, you can't. You can't. And that was the situation here. Literally, just General, I want to use bad names. Mura, when he was fighting, his purpose was to dehumanize not just one individual, but an entire culture. Because, and there was a long, heated debate about how much better karate or kung fu was than the other because of things like this. And when your intention is to dehumanize, demoralize, and literally neuter another human being, for that reason, you're going to lose. And shooting Sifu Ip after the match was probably one of the most cowardly things he could have done. But he lost. He lost. Sifu Ip lived. And...
Well, okay. I want to point something out. General Mora had nothing to do with Major Sato taking a shot at Ip Man to kill him. Major Sato literally came in and was like, if you win, I'm going to kill you."
Yeah.
I mean, he was going to try and kill him anyway, whether he won or lost, didn't matter. Like, General Sato's a piece of crap, but he warned Ip Man. I doubt he said anything to General Mora, because the last time he did something like that, General Mora almost killed him with his own gun. So he probably had no knowledge of it at all, and it wasn't his style. It was dishonorable to do something like that.
Right, but he wanted to prove that karate was better than kung fu, and
he wanted to maintain the honor, to keep the honor of Japan.
And yeah, I mean,
and not only that, but I mean, he straight up was like, "I want you to teach my soldiers your style of martial arts." Like, that's what he wanted. That was what he got if he won. And I mean, that wasn't going to happen, because there was no way he was going to win.
No.
I mean, not unless he was, the manslayer himself, which that requires a sword. So,
wait, did you just make a Berserk reference?
No, that was a Rurouni Kenshin reference.
Oh.
Batosai.
They're both manslayers, but yeah, no,
Well, then there's Demonized Kyo. But,
yeah.
3 different manslayers, 3 different animes, 1 review. You did that. Anyway, yeah, that's essentially...
Kool-Aid?
Oh, yeah. I enjoyed the movie. It was really well done. I liked a lot of the cinematography in it.
The choreography was absolutely beautiful.
Spot on.
And there's a lot of movies where, like, you'll hear me talk about choreography a lot in a lot of movies when we get to those movies, and how stilted it looks. This, obviously, you're employing martial artists that act, and that's what it is. And the choreography was amazing. Cinematography, like you had mentioned, the scenes and settings were absolutely beautiful. Like, absolutely.
Also, fun fact. Not just fun, badass fact. Donnie Yen was trained by Grandmaster Sifu Ip Ching, the son of Ip Man. He was trained by that guy. So his style of Wing Chun could not be any more solidified in its lineage. Like, not possible.
So, thank you guys for watching. Mention down in the comments whether or not you want us to do the rest of that trilogy, because there's number 2 and number 3, and we'll talk about it probably from different angles, like the actual historical account of things, and so on. Let us know what other movies you'd like us to review. October, I have a plan that you guys are going to like, and we're going to review 5. Can't remember, a certain amount of movies that you're going to enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next thing that Brain Candy has going on.